Stacy is a single mom with 2 little kids and a 9-to-5 that she was desperate to get out of. When she came to me, she had already tried trading and she lost a lot of money. And she was about 1 bad week away from deciding that this just wasn't for her. Her first month inside my academy, she made around $10,000. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down week by week how she did it. And I'll even be talking about what she changed, what she ignored, and the one decision that I genuinely believe flipped everything for her. And this is not to hype you up, the opposite actually. Because when you realize how she did this, you're going to realize that this is just a lot less dramatic and a lot more copyable than you'd expect. Let's get into it. But first, you need to know where she actually started. Because if you skip this part, then this result just kind of sounds like luck. And it was actually the opposite of luck. So let me tell you about her real schedule. She had to take her kids to school. She was up a little before pre-market, which is 8 a.m. So she was trading from 7 to 8 in the morning, just an hour of her time. Then she had to go to work, pick her kids back up from school, make dinner, do it all over again. So her actual training window was an hour to even 30 minutes. And there was nothing else to it. She didn't really have open mornings. She also didn't have free evenings. And she already tried trading a lot before she met me. She was a strategy hopper. She broke every rule in the book. She lost a lot of money, like I told you before. She was watching a lot of content, a lot of different gurus. Nothing just really stuck for her. She wasn't starting from zero like some of you might be right now. She was starting from negative. She lost a lot of money and she lost a lot of her confidence. I remember the first conversation me and Stacy had. She told me that she was eager to get started. She couldn't be more ready to be in an all-female community and actually learn a real system that supported her life. And I'd be lying if I told you that she wasn't afraid of losing money, because she definitely was. Everybody is scared to start, and they're never ready until they actually make that decision. She's in the same position that you are right now, the woman behind the screen watching me speak to you. Probably stuck in a 9-to-5, didn't really enjoy her life that much. Maybe you have a couple kids, maybe you got to take care of a family, make dinner, do the whole shebang every day, and she was just like you, had the same stuff going on, but she wanted to make a change in her life, and this was the change. So if you're a really busy mom or just a busy individual in general, maybe you've been burned before like she'd had. She joined a couple courses, never got what she needed to get out of it, never got that support system, got mocked in trading discords, got pushed out of these communities. Then she found me. And maybe that's the exact same that you're feeling right now. Now, here's the thing that might actually surprise you. In weeks 1 and 2, Stacy actually stopped trading completely. And that decision was on purpose. This is the exact one that I told you about in the hook. She unlearned first. That was her whole strategy. That was her whole process. She dropped altogether the mashed together strategies and recycled strategies you see online from multiple different gurus. And she committed to one, my 24/7 strategy. She only needed to master one market and one asset, and that is ES Futures. ES Futures is directly connected and is a derivative of the S&P 500. So since you can't actually trade the S&P 500, you can just trade the assets in it. So in the S&P 500, you might trade Apple. You might buy or sell a share of Apple, and you actually owned a piece of that company at one point in time. But futures allows you to trade the S&P 500 directly through contracts. So these contracts might have anything from oil, maybe gas, maybe corn, and you're trading the price fluctuation of these contracts, and all you need is a system that actually works. And let me tell you why this actually mattered for her schedule specifically. The strategy works for any session, 23/6, which is how long the futures market is open, and this exactly coincidentally fit her window. So her weird little window where she didn't really have time to trade happened to not be a problem anymore. This was the first time a strategy actually fit her life instead of just fighting it. She also learned risk rules before entry, which I push heavily on the women in my community. I talk about definitive daily loss number, not just having a percentage, not just having a general number you go off of, but actually knowing the exact amount that you are comfortable with losing per day. Because if that, loses sight of you, that's where people go wrong, because they don't know how much they're actually allowed to lose. She had that number, she wrote it down, and she knew it every single day before she took a single trade. I also push journaling from day 1, and she caught her leak within just the first week. Imagine you're struggling with trading, you don't know what you're doing wrong, you're trading every single day, you have all of these different things to worry about, and at the end of the week, you can't understand why you're losing or even why you're winning. And that's no other fault than not writing what you needed to write down in your trading journal. How can you track data How can you spot leaks when you don't have anything written down? And I'm going to put a little picture right here of the mark chart that she saw every single day. So instead of marking levels, instead of having to find every single tool and understand what it means on the trading view chart, I'll put a little picture right over here of what that looks like. All she had to do was open up the laptop and analyze. There was no 30 minutes, 40 minutes, which is typically what it takes for a beginner to even mark out a chart and even analyze before the market opens. So her 5 minutes of prep was all she needed. Analyze and execute. And I'll just say it plainly. Everything Stacy did in those 2 weeks is every single thing that I teach for every single woman that walks through the doors of Sisterhood Trading Academy. One strategy, risk rules first, journal defined, and someone actually caring about your progress. If you actually want that and you don't want to do this alone, the link to apply is in the description below. Okay, now let's talk about week 3 because this is actually where it got real. So weeks 3 and 4, boring, repeated, and protected. That's what we focused on in these weeks. Because honestly, this is where she just started to build her routine and run it. This is really the part nobody wants to hear because it's boring, but running a routine, running a system is actually what made her profitable. So let me talk about her daily loop, kind of what that looked like for her in a 15 to 20 minute window. Because this is actually where she moved around her kids' schedule and her busy life. And she did this with what is called limit orders. Limit orders allow you to set and forget, meaning you put your entry on the chart, you put where your trading idea would be invalidated on the chart, then you put your area where you want to make money on the chart as well. You press a button and it automatically glues to the chart, is what I like to call it. Limit orders allow you to get filled at the best possible price of where you predict that the price is going to go. Once you press your buttons, you're in and you don't have to touch anything else on your chart. Unlike market orders allow you to get in at the position exactly where that certain price is forming, wherever that level is, and you actually have to manually close out of your trades because you don't have any of your levels already set. And I don't use those. I only use limit orders, set and forget. And this is exactly what Stacy was doing. She was setting limit orders, her stop, her entry, and her take profit. She was taking 1 to 2 trades max, and then she also had a 2-minute trading journal routine right after she got done trading. Then, what came next? Laptop closed. And this is called she traded protected. And what's great about Stacy is she put in that work in the beginning through back testing, through paper trading, and through actually understanding a system before risking a single dollar. This is why she was able to see such fast results. And here's really the days that made her month. The days that made her weeks look like this. The no trade days. When nothing lined up in that 1 hour window, she was like, all right, I know how to do this. I know how to execute already. If there isn't a trading setup that plays out, then I don't care. The market's going to be there tomorrow, and my same exact plan and routine and system that I run is also going to be there as well. And what you'll realize is that actually doing nothing is the hardest skill because trading is really about doing nothing, honestly. There's not a lot of action that happens in trading for the majority of the time. There's a lot of analyzing. There's a lot of waiting, there's a lot of patience, but actually clicking buttons and actually moving around on your chart and doing all the stuff that you see people on social media doing to make it look like hype, to make it look like, it's a fun, very adrenaline rushing job. Sometimes it can be, yes, when you get into a trade and you get that dopamine rush, but the majority of trading is sitting here and analyzing and looking and touching nothing. And even though Stacy had some red days, she had a daily loss number like we previously had talked about, like I had built into her system. It did its job, then she stopped and she journaled it. And she showed up the next day. No revenge trading, no over trading. That's the entire system actually working. And she wasn't alone for any of it. Weekly calls, weekly live trading, setups reviewed together and looked over. Her questions actually answered. I know, probably can't believe it, right? I'll never forget coming to one of the group calls. Stacy turns on her mic after I get done going over the presentation and doing a little charting, and she's talking about how Sisterhood changed her life, how she's so happy that she joined, how she finally feels like she's on the right track and gaining her time back, gaining her life back, single mom to 2 kids. It's pretty incredible. But let's actually move into part 4. This is what her result is actually made of. So now when you hear single mom of 2 kids who makes $10,000 in her first month, now you know what that number is actually made of. It's not one big trade, one big day, one big week. It's not a secret. It's the same 4 decisions repeated for 21 trading days in a row, with someone actually in her corner, with many women actually in her corner, Now, let me kind of give you a little recap of the 4 decisions that she actually made that you could actually implement into your trading as well. Number 1, one strategy that fit her life. Not 10 different markets, not 10 different assets, not all these mumbo jumbo things. One strategy that actually fit into her life and actually fit into her schedule. Number 2, risk rules before entry. She had a defined dollar amount before ever entering into a single trade. She knew exactly what was on the line if that trade went the wrong way. Number 3, a journal, specifically someone that reviewed it with her. She knew exactly all of her leaks. She knew how to fix all of her problems. She had someone looking at it every step of the way, and that is why she was able to see such fast progress. Because 2 pair of eyes is always better than 1. And lastly, protected reps, boring and repeated. She's the hardest worker that I know. She was back testing every weekend, trying to get in as many paper trading reps as possible, trying to get as much experience in the market as possible. And she was actually protecting her capital by doing this, by getting in real reps, by seeing real results without risking a single dollar first though. And Stacy would tell you herself, she's not special. She'd tell you she finally has the right order and the right room. And that's exactly why her story matters. And this is what Stacy's actually working toward now. Stacy's actually working to pay off her house, to keep that house that she got when she became a single mother. That's why she's doing this. She's doing this for her kids. So think about this. Ask yourself, why are you doing this? What is your why? Because that's Stacy's why. In the first month, that's not the finish line for Stacy. That's her proof that she can actually do this month over month. The only difference between you and Stacy is that she made a decision that you haven't gotten around to yet, and you're the only one that can make that. And I love telling Stacy's story, but I want to be honest about why I made this video. It's not really about her. It's about the woman watching this behind the screen right now who is actually exactly in Stacy's position. Busy, burned before by other courses, maybe by other people, maybe by people who have turned their back on you, maybe in your own personal life. Maybe you're quietly wondering if you're actually capable of doing this. And Stacy actually sat behind the screen once like you're doing right now. And she just didn't decide to sit here and watch this video, close the laptop, and go on about her life. She decided that she actually wanted to do this and make a change. If that's you, Sisterhood Trading Academy is exactly where we do this. We do this together, and we do this with women only. The link is in the description below. I would genuinely love to meet you. And maybe in a few months from now, you never know, maybe I'm making this exact video about you. Thanks for watching.